Hi. Yeah, I made it. Yes. No, legit.
Exactly. Turn his mic off, please. Turn his mic off.
All right, good morning, everybody. Almost afternoon. Welcome to Glancy Field. Today's our senior day. We normally do this afterwards, so St. Norbert's bear with us here for a second. But we have to do one early today, all right? And Tim has always needed something special. So this is actually not new or different for Tim. But, I'm thinking, last few days, like, what am I going to say about Tim? You know what I mean? That I can say in front of everybody else. And one of the things I really started reflecting on was I remember the day we made contact. You don't, all right? You sent me an email, and I was in Virginia, COVID illegally, looking at players, all right? And we got into a giant rainstorm, and they sent us all to our cars, right? But that's the event that we got Jonah Wilkes at. That's the event that we got Dave Cooper at, right? So there it is right there. And not real long afterwards, I'm in your living room in Bexley, Ohio, right? And we're there for, obviously you, but we're also there for an event the next day where we found Lucas Wan, right? So your recruitment has always been inadvertently connected to other people, right? And your time here, I think, can be defined by your friendships and by the fact that you're always in the middle and that you could talk to everyone on this team as easily and as freely as you could talk to us. The power that you've had on our team for 4 years to connect and make relationships and to make us better has been awesome, right? You've been a heck of an outfielder for us, no doubt about that. You've been a heck of a teammate for us, no doubt about that. And you're definitely a guy that can keep me in check from time to time with the bully count and some of the other things that you do. So the only thing I would change about you is the mustache. So, but honestly, Tim, thank you so much for 4 years. Mr. and Mrs. Old and Grandma, thank you for sharing them with us for these times. I know he's got a little bit of grad school left, right? So I know we're not saying goodbye today, but thank you so much for everything you did. We got this for you, all right? So you can have that for the rest of your life. Thank you guys so much for everything. I appreciate it.
I know. He was getting emotional after. That's why he doesn't. So, I was saying about my adventure. I need you.
Now let's meet our starting lineups. Starting off for St. Norbert College. Leading off, the center fielder, Devin Gary. Hitting second, the pitcher and DH, Trevor Reinhardt. Hitting third, the shortstop, Dawson Schmidt. Hitting fourth, the left fielder, Matt Perry. Batting fifth, the first baseman, Jake Lucas. Batting sixth, the right fielder, Carson Krumray. Batting seventh, the third baseman, Will DeBruin. Batting eighth, the second baseman, Levi Crosswell. And batting ninth, the catcher, AJ Kisting. Now for your Scarlet Hawks. Batting first, the first baseman, Michael Paxton. Hitting second, the center fielder, Tyler Gutsfeld. Batting third, the left fielder, Luke Yaknin. Batting fourth, the DH, Philip Betts. Hitting fifth, the right fielder, Christopher DeGroot. Batting sixth, the shortstop, Matthew Bovey. Batting seventh, the catcher, Lucas Wong. Hitting eighth, the third baseman, Jack Fish. Batting ninth, the second baseman, Mario Riccio. And finally, your starting pitcher, Cameron. Oh, that's not right. Joseph Bellflower.
Now will everyone please rise for the national anthem.
Now will everyone please rise for the national anthem.
Happy Saturday and welcome to Ed Glancy Field in Chicago, Illinois for another presentation of NCAA Division III baseball here on the Scarlet Hawks Broadcast Network and on YouTube Live. Today it's senior day for the Illinois Tech Scarlet Hawks as they get set to take the field against the St. Norbert Green Knights. Hello everyone sitting behind home plate. I'm Chris Rouse on the call. I'll be with you for both games today as the Scarlet Hawks play host to their conference foes, the St. Norbert Green Knights. But the Scarlet Hawks looking to bounce back today following a sweep in doubleheader action on Tuesday at the hands against the Aurora Spartans. Scarlet Hawks were outscored 28-3 on Tuesday, and today they will send number 51 Joseph Bellflower to the bump as he will look to start it off against the St. Norbert Green Knights. For Bellflower, this will be his 6th appearance, his 4th start. He comes in with a record of 1-1 with a 5.51 ERA on the season. 16 in the third innings pitched this season. He struck out 10, and he's walked 7. He'll go up against the St. Norbert Green Knights. They come in with a record of 8-18, 3-11 in conference play, with all 3 of their wins being on the road, including the 2 wins they had in their doubleheader sweep against Lakeland on Tuesday. Here's the starting 9, led by head coach Mike Wallerick for the St. Norbert Green Knights. They line up like this. It'll be in the center fielder, number 3, Devin Geary. The designated hitter is also the starting pitcher, so that's technically not as designated hitter, number 11, Trevor Reinhardt. The shortstop, number 8, Dawson Schmidt, will hit third. Batting cleanup will be the left fielder, number 10, Matt Perry. Batting fifth will be the first baseman, number 91, Jake Lucas. The right fielder, number 13, Carson Crumrye, will bat sixth. Batting seventh will be third baseman, number 15, Will DeBruin. Batting eighth will be the second baseman, number 29, Levi Crosswell, and the catcher, number 23, AJ Kisting, will round out the starting 9 for St. Norbert. For Illinois Tech, here's the defense around Joseph Bellflower. They will have Luke Yachtin, Tyler Gutsfeld, and Christopher DeGroot left to right. On the corners, you'll have Jack Finch at third base. Michael Paxson, who started at third base on Tuesday, will return to his natural position. He'll be at first base today. Meanwhile, Matthew Bovey will play short, and Mario Riccio will be at second, and behind the plate will be Lucas Wan. Scarlet Hawks led by head coach Ed Ziefert in his 9th season. Record of 10-18 thus far this season for Illinois Tech, 6-8 in conference play. Had a big opportunity to try to swing the doubleheader on Tuesday against Aurora, but the offense just nothing doing for Illinois Tech, only able to put together 3 runs in the 2 games they played on Tuesday. Looking for better fortunes today as they take on St. Norbert. Geary will step into the box to begin today's affairs, and we're glad that you're joining us here at Ed Glancy Field for another presentation of Illinois Tech Scarlet Hawks baseball. Pretty good senior day start from Coach Ziefert with the words he had for Timmy Old. Here's Bellflower as ball. We play ball here on Saturday afternoon, and it's a ball high to Devin Geary. We mentioned Geary, the center fielder today for St. Norbert. He's a .275 hitter, has played in all 26 games this season for St. Norbert. The 1-0. Geary hits a chopper over to Bovey. Nice scoop up by Bovey. Bovey did pretty good in the field on Tuesday, and he continues that trend here early on Saturday, recording the first out of the day for the Illinois Tech Scarlet Hawks.
Number 11, DH, Trevor Reinhardt.
So Trevor Reinhardt will come to the plate. Reinhardt is listed as a designated hitter, but he will be the starting pitcher as well for St. Norbert. So technically, not really the designated hitter today, as he's going to hit for himself, and he'll try to help his own cause as he comes to the plate for the second at bat of the ball game. Pitcher versus pitcher matchup here, and Bellflower misses up and in for ball 1. See how Joseph Bellflower can do for Illinois Tech. Scarlet Hawks had to go deep into their bullpen in the game on Tuesday, both games on Tuesday against Aurora. So looking for a long starting outing from Bellflower as Reinhardt gets under one here. Pops that into right field. DeGroot camps underneath it. And that's a quick 2 outs for Bellflower as Illinois Tech retires the first 2 batters that they face. Good defense by DeGroot as he was able to camp under that one, find that one in the overcast skies here at Ed Glancy Field. First pitch was at 12:01 p.m., so just a minute late. 50 degrees, the current temperature. Winds nowhere near as ferocious as they were on Tuesday. Only 4-mile-per-hour winds to the east, which means it's blowing straight out to center field. Dawson Schmidt at the plate for St. Norbert. Schmidt is the second-best average hitter amongst qualifiers for St. Norbert this season, hitting .309 in all 26 games played. 1 home run, he's batted in 23, but an on-base percentage of .325, and already seeing a hitter's count, 2-0, to the shortstop, Dawson Schmidt. Dawson Schmidt listed as a sophomore for this roster. He's also listed as a pitcher. A number of players on the St. Norbert roster are listed as infielder, outfielder / pitcher. And you're actually starting to see more of that in NCAA Division III baseball. Could be the Shohei Ohtani effect. But right now the 3-0 to Schmidt as he's playing shortstop for St. Norbert. Let's see if Schmidt has the green light here. Taking all the way, but he draws the walk. So Dawson Schmidt will be the first base runner of the day for the St. Norbert Green Knights.
Left fielder, number 10, Matt Perry.
Only the third walk of the season for Schmidt. And now that'll keep the line moving for Matt Perry. Perry starting in left field today, batting .247 on the season. Has missed only 2 games this season. He's played in 24 of 26. This now 25 of 27. And the first pitch here is a strike on the outside corner. Illinois Tech, they were more the victims of the outside corner on Tuesday against Aurora. 2 solid pitching performances. 12 strikeouts for the starting pitcher of Aurora in Game 1. Then there were 8 in Game 2 for the starter. Illinois Tech hoping to change their fortunes and maybe take advantage of the home field advantage here at Ed Glancy Field. Bellflower with an 0-2 count as he looks to retire the side. Schmidt at first. Not really an incredibly long lead from Schmidt over there. As Bellflower delivers down the middle, and he gets the punch out to retire the side. Good start for Bellflower. He gives up the walk, but he immediately turns around and strikes out the following batter. Bottom of the first coming up on the other side of this break. Illinois Tech coming to bat for the first time this afternoon when we return to Ed Glancy Field. Back here at Ed Glancy Field in Chicago, Illinois Tech Scarlet Hawks getting ready to come to the plate for the first time here in our doubleheader. Remember, Game 1 with a noon start. Game 2 scheduled for approximately 3 p.m. But here's the lineup Ed Ziefert will send out in game number 1. Batting first will be the first baseman, number 99, Michael Paxson. He'll be followed by center fielder, number 5, Tyler Gutzfeld. Batting third will be left fielder Luke Yaknin. The designated hitter, Philip Bentz, will bat 4th. Christopher DeGroot, the right fielder, hits 5th. And then following him will be the shortstop, number 33, Matthew Bovey, batting 6th. The catcher, Lucas Wan, will bat 7th. Jack Finch, the third baseman, bats 8th. And Mario Riccio, the second baseman, will bat 9th. They're going up against Trevor Reinhardt, who, once again, is technically listed as the designated hitter, but he's hitting for himself. He's the starting pitcher. This will be his 7th start of the season for St. Norbert. Reinhardt with a 9.32 ERA, a 1-5 record on the season. He's pitched in 28 innings this season. He struck out 15. He's walked 10. And he will start his day on the mound going up against Michael Paxson. Paxson is the average leader for Illinois Tech to this point of the season, hitting .385. He also has 4 home runs, including also adding 12 runs batted in. Paxson's 4th home run of the season. He cranked that out on Tuesday when he hit one over the right center field wall against Aurora. And that was, for some time, the only run Illinois Tech had. That was one of the 3 runs scored in Game 1 of their 18-3 loss at the hands of Aurora on Tuesday. But Paxson here finds himself in an early 0-2 hole. Paxson versus Reinhardt could be an interesting matchup here. You think maybe Paxson one of those batters that provides the pop for Illinois Tech. You mentioned his power, having 4 home runs this season. He's actually taken a step back in terms of home run hitting, but he's become a much better average hitter, hence the team lead. And he takes one in the dirt to make it a 2-2 count. Paxson, .385 average hitter on the season, .460 on base percentage, leading the way in both of those categories. At 11 versus 99. Not often you see this matchup in jersey numbers as Paxson hits one right back to Reinhardt, and Reinhardt will do it himself. That's just how he'll do it at the plate today as he gets an easy 1-3 ground out to retire Paxson.
Number 5, center fielder, Tyler Gutfeld.
So that'll bring Tyler Gutsfeld to the plate. Now, Paxson is the average leader hitter for Illinois Tech. This is the home run leader for Illinois Tech in Gutsfeld. Gutsfeld with 8 home runs this season. He's batted in 24. 364 average for Gutsfeld. And first pitch swinging for Gutsfeld. He's going to hit that one down the left field side. Looks like it'll just get out of play from the St. Norbert fielders. They had a trio of fielders in pursuit. Neither able to get there in time as that one drops for strike one. Gutsfeld this season, when he's been able to get on base, 7 for 7 in stolen base opportunities. He also has 6 doubles. He has a triple to go with those 8 home runs. 727 slugging this season, leading the way for Illinois Tech by far amongst qualifiers. Paxson is the player in second amongst qualifiers in terms of slugging at 594. The 0-1 from Reinhardt on the way. Gutsfeld takes that one high for ball one. That combo of Paxson and Gutsfeld certainly been doing their part for this Illinois Tech roster. But on Tuesday against Aurora, it just seemed the Scarlet Hawks had a hard time reading the ball on the outside part of the plate when they took on the Aurora Spartans. Today they take on the St. Norbert Green Knights. They come in 8-18. And St. Norbert, to this point of the season, 8-18, not a single win at home. They are 0-6 at home, are the Green Knights. But they are 4-7 in neutral site matchups and 4-5 on the road. It's a 2-2 count to Gutsfeld. And now he takes one outside to make it 3-2. So full count, early action for Gutsfeld as he now will get a chance to see a payoff pitch here against Reinhardt. Here's the 3-2. Swing and a miss. Gutsfeld may have got a foul tip, and the umpire agrees, but nonetheless, Gutsfeld will go down on strikes. First strikeout of the day for Trevor Reinhardt.
Number 3, left fielder, Luke Yakman.
That'll bring Luke Yaknin to the plate. Yaknin, the starting left fielder for Illinois Tech today. Batting .289 on the season through 27 games played. Yaknin has missed only one game this season of a potential 28. Now he's played 28 of a potential 29 games for Illinois Tech. .289 average, 1 home run, 8 runs batted in. .333 on base percentage. And right now Yaknin ahead in the count 2-0 against Trevor Reinhardt. Once again, Illinois Tech Senior Day, they had the special presentation for Timmy Old pregame. And then we'll do a more formal Senior Day, which will have all of the seniors listed on the roster. And you will be able to watch all of that here on the Scarlet Hawks Broadcast Network and on YouTube Live. 2-1 count to Yaknin. And a swing and a miss as Yaknin tries to chase one on the outside corner. And that's sort of where Illinois Tech had their problems on Tuesday. Unable to read those pitches that would break back to the outside part of the zone. As that one lands perfectly on the corner. Yaknin on the check. The appeal, and the first base umpire says no go from Yaknin. So we'll see another 3-2 with Yaknin versus Reinhardt. A pair of payoff pitches early here for Trevor Reinhardt. He was able to strike out Gutsfeld on the foul tip. Let's see what happens as he goes up against Yaknin. The 3-2 delivery. Up high and misses. Yaknin takes his base. Good eye by Luke Yaknin. And for Yaknin this season, that's the 6th walk he's worked this season for Illinois Tech. And that'll keep the line moving now for Phillip Bentz, the designated hitter for Illinois Tech. Bentz, a .317 hitter to this point of the season. Has yet to go yard, but he has brought in 7 this season for Illinois Tech. And he chases one to the dirt for strike one. Bit of an exchange of the balls as that one bounced in the dirt to the catcher, Kisting. And now Reinhardt and Kisting getting the signal. Let's see what approach they use here to work on the 0-1 against Bench. They go to that same outside corner where they were effective against both Gutsfield and Yaknin. And now an 0-2. As Bench tries to salvage this at bat. Yaknin takes a pretty strong lead over at first. The 0-2. Bench pops it up, and that one goes foul back towards 31st Street and lands harmlessly to the ground. Anytime those foul balls hit over towards 31st Street, I always want to keep the head up in case there's a car coming past. Luckily, no traffic in that situation. The 0-2. And a check over. May have gotten Yaknin, and he did. That was a good read by Reinhardt. He caught Yaknin leaning just a little bit towards the second base side, and Reinhardt able to turn it around and retire the side on the pickoff. Scoreless through one. St. Norbert coming back to the plate. Top of the second on the other side of this break. This is Illinois Tech Baseball on the Scarlet Hawks Broadcast Network and on YouTube Live. Back here at Ed Glancy Field in Chicago, Illinois Tech Scarlet Hawks baseball on the Scarlet Hawks Broadcast Network and on YouTube Live. Chris Rouse on the call here behind home plate. 5, 6, 7 hitters coming to the plate for St. Norbert here in the top of the second. It'll be the first baseman, Jake Lucas, to lead it off as Joseph Bellflower takes the bump for his second inning of work here against the St. Norbert Green Knights. Coming up on Monday, the battle for Southside Pride will take place at Rate Field as the Illinois Tech Scarlet Hawks will take on the University of Chicago Maroons. That game scheduled for 6 p.m. first pitch, and we will have that for you here on the Scarlet Hawks Broadcast Network and on YouTube Live. One of the better experiences every year whenever Illinois Tech takes on the University of Chicago over at the home of the Chicago White Sox, just 4 blocks from here at Ed Glancy Field. Lucas hits a ground ball to Paxson, and it gets off the heel of the glove, and Lucas will reach safely, as that will allow St. Norbert to get the leadoff man on here in the second inning. And that's actually going to be scored a hit for Jake Lucas, likely as a result of him stinging that ball. Just a well-hit ball, very hard hit ball right to Paxson, and it just sort of skipped off the edge of the glove. So now Carson Crumrye will come to the plate. The right fielder for the Green Knights. 243 hitter on the season is Crumrye. And Crumrye swinging with a bit of a hardy cut early on here, swinging at the first pitch. Unable to make contact there. Mention how Crumrye is hitting in the 240s this season for St. Norbert. 243. He tries to put a bunt down, but he hits that one off the netting. Crumrye this season, this is 24th game, 23rd start. A 356 on base percentage this season. He's worked 11 walks. He has 5 runs batted in on the season for St. Norbert. Here's the 0-2. Crumrye with a chopper. Hits that one right back to the St. Norbert bench. St. Norbert led by head coach Mike Wallerick over there. This is a St. Norbert team, 8-18. They had a clean sweep, had to go 10 innings to win game 1 against Lakeland on Tuesday. And now the 0-2. That one fouled back right to the netting here. And pretty tough at bat for Crumry as he's hanging in here against Illinois Tech. Illinois Tech starter Bellflower. Here is the 0-2. Not a big lead over there from Lucas at first. Now he takes a jump. Bellflower throws that one in the dirt. Juan scoops it out as Lucas tries to advance to second, and he reaches safely in around the tag. And a heads-up play there from Jake Lucas as he moves in safely. And he'll be the first runner in scoring position this afternoon. And it'll be for the St. Norbert Green Knights. Juan did a good job of digging the ball out of the dirt. The throw actually appeared as if it was in time. But Riccio just unable to get the tag down as Lucas went around him. And now he stands at second. The 1-2. Bellflower with a long look at Lucas, and the ball hit in the right center field by Crumry. Lucas rounds third. Here comes the throw. Paxson cuts it off, but he couldn't handle it. And as a result, Lucas scores, and that's the opening run of the day as St. Norbert draws first blood. RBI single for Carson Crumry. Jake Lucas representing run number 1 of the day.
St. Norbert, third baseman, number 15, Will DeBruin.
Will DeBruin coming to the plate. DeBruin hitting sub-200, hitting 174 on the season. But that was a good piece of hitting by Crumry as he now has his 6th RBI, able to plate Jake Lucas to open the scoring on this Saturday afternoon. So now let's see how Bellflower responds. Instead, he's going to see a bunt from the third baseman, DeBruin, and that one's going to go foul to begin the at-bat. So let's see how Bellflower responds. It appeared in the matchup on Tuesday for Illinois Tech when they got down early against Aurora, just really couldn't get themselves out of a hole that they dug early in the game. They were down 2-0 before they got to the plate in game 1 of that doubleheader. Took a little longer today, obviously, before they gave up that first run. As St. Norbert able to score first here in the top of the second. Man on first. Nobody out for DeBruin. That one gets away from Bellflower. And 1-1. Bellflower, once again, keeping close eye on that runner on first in Crumry. He was sort of doing the same thing when Lucas advanced to second. And now Bellflower finding the zone for strike 2. I was going to say he made a long look at Jake Lucas prior to delivering the pitch to Crumry, where Crumry hit one in the right center field. 1-2 count. Bellflower works inside and gets the strikeout. Good placement by Bellflower. Sort of froze DeBruin, who thought about offering, but just couldn't pull the string. And as a result, he'll go down looking. And the line continues to move now for Levi Crosswell, the second baseman for the Green Knights. 292 hitter is Crosswell. This is 11th game play, and he comes in swinging, but swings and misses for strike 1. We've seen a few guys come up looking to be aggressive. We've seen a few with a more patient approach. Crosswell, it seems the guys that have swung at that first pitch, they've been less successful than the guys that maybe waited out. As Crosswell chops one over to the third base side, that'll go foul. So already a 2-strike count on Levi Crosswell. Crosswell this season, no home runs, but he has batted in 2 for St. Norbert. 393 on base percentage. But with a man on first, really would just like to try to move that runner over and get him in a scoring position and stay out of the double play here. Middle infielders Bovey and Riccio are at double play depth. The 0-2. Ooh, that one up and in, and it hits him, and Crosswell will take his base. Just when it appeared that Bellflower was dealing, he loses Crosswell. Sort of caught him on, I'm not sure if he caught him on the wrist or the hand, but nonetheless, it puts runners at first and second. A.J. Kisting, the catcher, will now come to the plate. As Illinois Tech's catcher Lucas Wan now goes out to have some words with Joseph Bellflower, really just trying to settle him down here following the RBI single and then now the hit by pitch. A.J. Kisting, 282 hitter this season for St. Norbert. That's good for third on the team. He's played in 25 games. Prior to today, this is 26th game, 23rd start. 398 on base percentage. And he takes the first pitch outside for ball one. Again, Bellflower just trying to respond to this first and second situation. Runner in scoring position, one away. Bellflower's delivery to the plate. Missed outside. Riccio went to cover second in behind Crumrye. I thought maybe the pickoff opportunity was going to come there, but Bellflower decided to deliver to the plate. Here's the 2-0 as Bellflower again, another long look at that runner at second, and he misses outside, 3-0. A.J. Kisting, the 9-hitter for St. Norbert today, in a hitter's count, 3-0. The lineup will turn over, barring a double play ball here. See if Bellflower can get one over here. Juan appears that he's setting up in the middle, about middle away here just to get a strike. And there it is, the get me over pitch indeed for strike one. Kisting was taking all the way. Obviously, you would expect that out of 7, 8, 9, but Kisting is the 9-hitter, so you would expect maybe he would be taken there in the 9 spot. But here's the 3-1. That one misses low, and that will load him up for St. Norbert. As Bellflower, ever since he gave up the RBI single to Crumrye, appears to be a little bit rattled. And now Devin Geary will come to the plate. Geary grounded out to second his first time up. And now in a huge situation for St. Norbert as he has the bases loaded with one away. Geary has batted in 22 this season for St. Norbert. And an opportunity here to at least add 2 numbers to his RBI total if he can put this one in the right spot. The 0-1 count. That one fouled right back to the backstop. 0-2 as Bellflower continues to try to work out of the jam. You would think here with the bases loaded, one away, the focus is on the hitter here. We've seen in maybe the last 2 or 3 batters, Bellflower taking a long look at those runners on base, and that appeared to maybe have rattled him a bit. And he gets the strikeout. Pretty simple for Bellflower there. Just go right at the hitter. And he got the K as he caught Geary swinging.
Number 11, Trevor Reinhardt.
And Bellflower with his third strikeout of the game. He struck out Perry, he struck out DeBruin, and now Geary the third. Here's the pitcher / designated hitter Reinhardt. Reinhardt will help his own cause as he rips one into left field. 1 run will score. Coming in behind him is Crosswell, and that'll score 2. And St. Norbert able to extend their advantage to 3-0. Great piece of hitting by Reinhardt as he gets the RBI single, and he's able to plate 2 to make it a 3-0 lead in favor of St. Norbert. Dawson Schmidt coming to the plate. Schmidt drew a walk his first time up. And he fouled that one back to Lucas Wan. Looks like that one may have caught Wan right in the chest protector or maybe in the mask area there. I know Wan took a bit of a beating in the game on Tuesday against Aurora. Did a good job of getting in front of a number of balls that sort of bounced to the plate late in the game. But there was an inning where Juan really was all over the backstop, just trying to keep that ball in front. The 0-1. Schmidt hits a chopper to third. Finch scoops it up and throws it across the infield to retire the side. But St. Norbert gets on the board, and they score 3. Scarlet Hawks will look to respond in the bottom of the second when we return to Ed Glancy Field. This is Illinois Tech Scarlet Hawks baseball on the Scarlet Hawks Broadcast Network. Scarlet Hawks find themselves down 3-0 going into the bottom of the second here against the St. Norbert Green Knights. Good start for Trevor Reinhardt as he was able to retire the side in order in the first, but that was because of the pickoff of Luke Yaknin on first to end the bottom of the first. So as a result, 4-5-6 coming up for Illinois Tech. It'll be Phil Bench, Christopher DeGroot, and Matthew Bovey. 4-5-6 here for Illinois Tech as the Scarlet Hawks look to try to get on the board and rally back from down 3 early on. First pitch from Reinhardt misses inside to Bentz. Bentz got the start in both games on Tuesday against Aurora as the designated hitter. A .317 average hitter. He's batted in 7 this season for Illinois Tech. .398 on base percentage entering the day. First pitch here for Bentz. The 2-0 from Bentz is fouled away as he sends that one over to the 31st Street side. See if Bentz can try to start a rally here for Illinois Tech. And instead, Bentz chasing one in the opposing batter's box. And now finds himself in a 2-2 count with his team down 3 here in the bottom of the second. 2-2, Reinhardt working quickly, and he gets the strikeout as he put that one right on the inside corner against Bentz. And Bentz goes down looking. Second strikeout of the day for Trevor Reinhardt. And now Christopher DeGroot will come to the plate. This is the 11th start of the season for DeGroot. A .267 hitter. Also .405 on base percentage. First pitch, fouls it back. You see Illinois Tech trying to jump on some of those first pitches today. We saw that with Gutsfeld earlier. Took a pretty hearty cut. And now you see DeGroot doing the same here, but he fouls it back just a little late. And again, same result for DeGroot. It appears he's seeing it at about where he wants to make the contact. The contact just a split second late on both swings as both fouled back. Reinhardt looking to make quick work of DeGroot. Unable to do so as that misses at about the belt. Make it 1-2. Illinois Tech dugout hoping for a win, hoping for wins in both games today here on Senior Day. Cheering on DeGroot. You can hear a number of players saying, "Come on, 9." And DeGroot able to take that one for 2-2. DeGroot makes contact here, but he fouls it. It sounded as if maybe he fouled that one off the plate. And they're going to just change the ball here, 2-2. Reinhardt already 2 strikeouts in the ball game. He struck out Gutsfeld swinging in the first. He just saw him strike out Bentz looking on the inside corner. Let's see if he has the put-away pitch for DeGroot, the 2-2. DeGroot makes contact, but he gets underneath this one. Hits it over to the left field side. That looks like it's going to be Schmidt who retires him. Good job by Schmidt as he was able to call off the third baseman DeBruin to make the play.
Now for the Scarlet Hawks, number 33, shortstop, Matthew Bovey.
Here comes Matthew Bovey to the plate. Bovey has played in all of the 28 previous games for Illinois Tech. And this one obviously now number 29. He started in 27 of those 29 games. A .232 average hitter for Illinois Tech. Naturally a second baseman, but playing at shortstop with some of the injuries that Illinois Tech has been dealing with this season. And he starts this at bat with a 1-0 count. And Bovey fouling that one right back to the net. 1-1. Bovey and Riccio, I think they've done a good job up the middle for Illinois Tech. But you mentioned again, once again, mentioning Bovey, naturally a second baseman. Usually he and Fryer are the 2 middle infielders. But with Jack Fryer out with injury, Bovey has now been moved to shortstop, and we've seen Mario Riccio playing at second. Riccio this season has started in 5 games. This will be his 6th start as Bovey fouls that one away. 2-2 count to Bovey as he tries to salvage this bottom of the second for the Illinois Tech Scarlet Hawks. Here is the 2-2 from Reinhardt. And Bovey unable to catch up to it as Reinhardt makes quick work of the Scarlet Hawks in the second. Strikeout, pop out, strikeout. And St. Norbert back in the dugout. They'll be coming up in the top of the third on the other side of this break. St. Norbert leads it 3-0 when we return here on the Scarlet Hawks Broadcast Network. Back here at Ed Glancy Field in Chicago, Illinois Tech Scarlet Hawks baseball as they take on the St. Norbert Green Knights. St. Norbert with a 3-0 lead as we head to the top of the third. This is senior day for Illinois Tech, but there are still two more home games technically for Illinois Tech. They both will be next Wednesday when the Scarlet Hawks take on the Concordia University of Chicago Cougars. We'll have that for you on Wednesday, April the 23rd. Games at noon and 3 p.m. as the Scarlet Hawks take on conference foes, their conference foes from River Forest, the Concordia University of Chicago Cougars. Top of the third here is Matt Perry, the left fielder, and he takes a strike. Of course, Illinois Tech mixed in there. We'll have the neutral site matchup on Monday at Rate Field against the University of Chicago Maroons. Meanwhile, this ball from Perry is popped over to the right side. Paxson lets it go over his head, and that's actually in fair territory. And as a result, Perry is going to advance safely to second. Illinois Tech had the ball. They had a trio of fielders surround the ball, but it sort of was hitting a no man's land. And as a result, Perry will get the double, fourth hit of the day for St. Norbert. So that will now bring Jake Lucas to the plate. Lucas singled his first time up and later came around to score. St. Norbert has 3 on the board right now. Lucas was number 1 of those 3. And now he'll face Bellflower with a man on second. Ball just perfectly hitting the no man's land for Illinois Tech. Bellflower tries to pick off, and Perry back in safely. Coach Ed Ziefert pacing over there by that Scarlet Hawks dugout, sort of in front of the players that are standing on that top fence. Here's Bellflower, another one of those long looks at Perry. Ball hits straight in the air. Juan goes over towards the St. Norbert dugout, and that ball going to get out of play. And we'll keep Lucas at the plate. You see Bellflower taking a long walk around the mound here as he's trying to figure out how to approach the St. Norbert order. He's allowed 4 hits to this point of the game. He's given up a walk. He's actually given up 2 walks and a hit by pitch. Lucas Juan able to stop that ball with his chest protector to make it ball 1. That goes back to what I mentioned about Juan on Tuesday against Aurora, sort of taking a beating, stopping some of those pitches in the dirt. If I'm not mistaken, I think that was maybe the 5th inning of Game 2, or either the 5th or 6th inning of Game 2, where we saw him have to knock down a number of pitches just in one at-bat. I think he knocked maybe like 4 down in a 6-pitch at-bat. It's a 2-1 count. So now let's see if Jake Lucas, already 1 for 1 today, with a single and a run scored. The 2-1. That one inside. Good pitch by Bellflower as he worked closely to Lucas there. Low and in. That's a 2-2 count. Let's see if let's see if he goes for the strikeout pitch or if he works towards his defense here. Try to keep Perry at second. Long look at Perry from Bellflower. He gets the strikeout. Jake Lucas waving at that one. Fourth strikeout of the day for Bellflower. He struck out Perry, DeBruin, Geary, and now Lucas.
Number 13, Carson Krumrye.
And now it'll be Carson Krumrye who comes to the plate. Krumrye had a single. He had a single and later came around to score as well. He was the second run of the day for St. Norbert. And now Krumrye hits one to short. Bovey able to scoop, and he actually throws it to third, and we've got a rundown on the left side of the infield. Finch gives it up to Riccio, and they tag out Perry to retire the lead runner. Good defense by Illinois Tech. That's going to be a 6-5-4 force. Excuse me, 6-5-4 fielder's choice on the left side of the infield for Illinois Tech. So now 2 away in the inning. And Bellflower working inside, gets the strike. Bellflower going against Will DeBruin. He struck DeBruin out his first time up. Now Bellflower gets the ground ball to Bovey. Bovey with a quick flip. Another 6-4 fielder's choice. A pair of fielder's choice plays from the field. Helped the Scarlet Hawks get out of the early jam. Scarlet Hawks coming back to the plate. When we return to Ed Glancy Field, you're watching Illinois Tech Baseball on the Scarlet Hawks Broadcast Network. Seven, 8, 9 hitters coming to the plate for Illinois Tech as we get ready to begin the bottom of the third. It'll be Lucas Juan, Jack Finch, and Mario Riccio for Illinois Tech. And here comes Lucas Juan, the starting catcher today. Juan, a .228 hitter this season for Illinois Tech. This is his 20th start in 24 games played. .323 on-base percentage. No long balls this season for Juan, but he does have 3 RBIs, and that's a good way to start it off for Lucas Juan, as there's a rifle right back up the middle. And once again, Illinois Tech, they've had a number of batters go to the plate aggressive, try to jump on that first pitch. Juan, the first one to be successful for the Scarlet Hawks, as he ripped that one right back up the middle. 14th hit of the season for Lucas Juan. And that'll keep the line moving for Jack Finch, a .273 hitter. Also playing in his 24th game this season. However, this is his 21st start as opposed to 20th for Juan. First pitch for Finch is a strike. First hit of the day for Illinois Tech, courtesy of the catcher Juan. But now Finch, the third baseman, in an 0-1 count. Reinhardt missing in the dirt. And now that Illinois Tech has their first base runner of the day, let's see how this affects Trevor Reinhardt. We've seen Joseph Bellflower. Usually when he gets a runner on, he appears to be a bit rattled by those runners on base. You've seen him take some of those long looks at the runner, even in one situation when he gave up an RBI single. Took a long look at the runner on second, and then the next thing you know, the ball was hitting the right center field for an RBI single. Meanwhile, Reinhardt appearing to keep his composure here against Finch. It's a 1-2 count. Juan appears as if maybe he may go. Instead, Finch will go back to the dugout as he swings and misses at one of the outside corner, and he'll go down on strikes.
Now batting for the Scarlet Hawks, number 8.
Fourth strikeout of the day for Reinhardt. He's punched out Gutsfeld, Bentz, Bovey, and now Finch as he now gets to the 9-hitter Riccio. So Riccio, the starting second baseman today. This is 6th start of the season, 13th game played. And the first pitch to Riccio. Misses on the outside corner. Actually, it is in there for a strike. 0-1. Now Reinhardt taking a long look at Juan over at first. And now he tries to pick off. Remember, Reinhardt did pick off Yaknin back in the first inning when Philip Bentz was in the box. Could be trying to get another one here against Juan, but nothing doing for this moment. However, he did force Lucas to get dirty. Meanwhile, Reinhardt misses on the outside corner, actually in the other batter's box, to make it a 1-1 count. 3-0 score, 3 runs, 4 hits, no errors for St. Norbert. Scarlet Hawks yet to score, yet to commit an error, but they do have the 1 hit, courtesy of Juan, to lead off this inning. Bit of a check swing here from Riccio. And that's going to be a ball, so 2-1 to the Scarlet Hawks second baseman. Remember, we were seeing 17-mile-per-hour winds on Tuesday. Not quite as aggressive today. Only 3 miles per hour to the east. But that is blowing directly to about right center field here at Ed Glancy Field as Riccio now swings. They are saying he went down, so the one previous pitch was a strike. And that'll be a strikeout of Riccio. So the lineup turns over for Paxson as Illinois Tech looking to bring Juan home here. But here's Paxson, who's already 0 for 1 today, a ground out to Reinhardt himself earlier. Last time up, it was Paxson made contact, but he hit it right back to Reinhardt, who stuck the glove out, and a quick flip to first, where Jake Lucas actually got the put out. The 1-0. Paxson chops one foul, 1-1 count. See, Juan at first. Paxson facing a 1-1 count against Reinhardt. Reinhardt already with 5 strikeouts to this point of the game. The 1-1. Missed in the dirt. The runner goes and Juan. There will be no throw from Kisting as Juan is able to take advantage of the mishandled ball there. Let's see if that'll be scored. Likely going to be a wild pitch there as that was knocked down. But it allows Juan to advance to second. So a 2-1 count. Runner in scoring position. First runner in scoring position for Illinois Tech this afternoon. Paxson watches one to the outside corner. And it's 3-1. Favorable hitters count here for Michael Paxson, who certainly has the power to put one over the fences here. And there's Exhibit A right there, but that one's going to go foul. Certainly turned on that one, but didn't straighten it out. And that will lead to a full count here, 3-2 against Paxson. 3-2 count. 2 away in the inning. Juan on second as Illinois Tech looking to get on the board. Here's the payoff. In the dirt. Paxson works the walk. Keeps the line moving for Illinois Tech. And now to be Tyler Gutsfeld. Gutsfeld getting some instructions here before he steps into the box. First and second. 2 away for Tyler Gutsfeld. Gutsfeld struck out. He was the first strikeout of the day for Reinhardt in the first inning. And now they're trying to pick off. Oh, that ball goes out in the center field. Juan taps the bag. Paxson's also going to advance. Juan stops at third, and Illinois Tech able to move the runners Each runner goes up a base. Juan now 90 feet from being the first run of the day for Illinois Tech. Oh, Reinhardt really just threw that one well offline. He was trying to pick off Juan at second. He threw that one directly into right center field. And there was even a brief moment there where Crumrise struggled to pick the ball up. But as a result, Illinois Tech able to move their runners up for Gutsfield. First pitch of the at-bat here. And Gutsfield takes a strike. Favorable opportunity here for Tyler Gutsfield. Again, Illinois Tech's leader in power hitting, 8 home runs. Also their leader in runs batted in with 24. However, Gutsfield hits this one to second. Crosswell scoops it up, and nothing doing for Illinois Tech on the 4-3 ground out. Scarlet Hawks strand a pair. St. Norbert able to get out of a 2-out jam, and they'll come back to the box with a 3-0 lead when the top of the fourth begins here on the Scarlet Hawks Broadcast Network on the other side of this break. Top of the fourth here at Ed Glancy Field. St. Norbert with a 3-0 advantage over the Illinois Tech Scarlet Hawks. Chris Rouse here behind home plate as action continues. It'll be the 8-9 one-hitters for St. Norbert here in the top of the fourth. Second baseman Levi Crosswell will lead it off. Crosswell was hit by a pitch earlier in the ballgame and later came around to score. He was run number 3 for St. Norbert to this point of the game. And he takes a strike to begin his second at-bat of the day. Second plate appearance following the hit by pitch earlier. He advanced to second on a walk and then later came around to score on the RBI from the 2-run single from Reinhardt. Bellflower still out there here for a 4th inning of work for Illinois Tech. And finds himself in a 1-1 count against Crosswell. Illinois Tech had a pair of runners on base in the bottom of the third. Unable to bring them in as Gutsfield grounded out to the batter at the moment. Levi Crosswell for the 4-3 force at first. Here's the 2-1 count. Crosswell just patiently awaiting the delivery and whips one in the left field. Yaknin in pursuit. That gets down. Crosswell around first and on his way to second. Crosswell looks like he's going to be in a second standing up, and that is exactly the situation. Lead-off double for the second baseman of the St. Norbert Green Knights. He's reached safely in both of his plate appearances early on.
Number 23, A.J. Kisting.
I'll bring up A.J. Kisting. Kisting also drew a walk. He reached via the walk his first time up and then was stranded out at second when the second inning came to a close. Fifth hit of the day for the St. Norbert Green Knights already. As now Kisting looks to try to bring in the 4th run of the day for St. Norbert. Instead, it'll be strike one to the outside corner. Good job by Bellflower. He's done a pretty good job working away from those right-handers, as you usually would expect in a right-handed versus right-hander matchup. He's been able to command that outside corner, but the batters that have tapped him up have been able to plate runners. That one going to be hit to center field. It drops in front of Gutsfeld. Croswell had to wait to make sure it fell down. It does fall for a base hit. And just like that, St. Norbert has runners on the corners.
Devin Geary.
Here comes Devin Geary, the leadoff hitter who's, to this point of the ballgame, is 0 for 2. He'll now come up with nobody out and runners on the corner here in the fourth. Geary grounded out to short, and then he struck out his second time up. But he's going up against Bellflower, who certainly had his hands full here against St. Norbert in the early going. 6 hits in the ballgame. Runners on the corner. And that's ball 1 to Geary. See if Illinois Tech, with Croswell 90 feet from home, see if they're going to try to play for the double play here, trade the run for a pair of outs. Or Bellflower again as he goes right at the batter. It appears he's going to try to go right at the hitter in Geary. 1-1 count. Just my observation, Bellflower has done a great job when he's going right at the batters. We've seen him get those strike pitches on the outside corner. He's worked inside as well. But once you get those runners on, give him something to think about. That's where he struggled to this point of the game. That one hit right at Bovee, who shows off the athleticism for a quick stab over at short. And he's able to retire Geary. That's twice Geary has been out thanks to Bovee. Grounded out to him earlier. He'll line out to him here. And now Trevor Reinhardt will come to the plate. Reinhardt had the 2-run single earlier in the ballgame. He's 1 for 2 to this point of the game as Reinhardt. He flew out to right. And then obviously the 2-run single came in the second. Going up against Bellflower here. As that ball gets away from Juan. Actually, no, they're going to say a hit. They're going to say a hit Reinhardt. And that will load the bases for St. Norbert.
Now batting for St. Norbert, number 8, Dawson Schmidt.
So Kisting moves up to second. Reinhardt now will take his base at first as Dawson Schmidt, the shortstop, will come to the plate. Third plate appearance for Schmidt. He walked his first time up and grounded out to third to end the second. Bellflower working on that outside corner. And again, Bellflower has had command on that outside corner against these right-handed hitters for the St. Norbert Green Knights. It's an 0-1 count. And now Bellflower delivers one over the middle. That gets whacked into center field. Croswell going to round, and he's going to score. Right behind him is Kisting. The runner is in to score, and St. Norbert, a 2-run double for Dawson Schmidt as St. Norbert extends their lead to 5-0. Reinhardt over to third. And St. Norbert's offense starting to jump all over Bellflower. And I'm looking at Coach Ed Ziefert. Doesn't appear that he has anyone up in that Scarlet Hawks bullpen just yet. But his team now down 5-0 following that 2-run double. Bellflower now working against Perry. And Perry takes ball 1. Perry to this point of the game, 1 for 2. He doubled earlier. He struck out his first at bat. He doubled in the third. And then he got caught in the rundown on the left side of the infield. He hit a blooper to Paxson, who just sticks the glove hand out for an easy out. So good job by Paxson to make that play sort of backpedaling almost over his head there. But he is able to retire Perry. And now Paxson's positional counterpart, Jake Lucas, the first baseman of St. Norbert, will come to the plate. Lucas 1 for 2 with a single and a strikeout. When Lucas got the single in the second, he later came around to be run number 1 for St. Norbert. Now here the Green Knights are with a 5-0 advantage and 7 hits in the game. Strike 1 against Lucas. You hear the St. Norbert coaching staff yelling about posture drill here. As they thought maybe Lucas offered. As now it'll be 0-2 against Lucas. Second and third, 2 away for St. Norbert. Lucas, that one gets away from Juan. A chance to throw it to the plate. The ball comes in, but it's not in time as Reinhardt scores. That one gets away from Lucas Juan, and the run comes in to make it 6-0. Tough break for Juan as he did a good job to knock it down. But when the contact was made, the ball skipped all the way to the right backstop. And as a result, it allows the runners to come in, or at least to advance. Reinhardt comes in. Schmidt moves to third. St. Norbert up 6-0 here. And they've got a man 90 feet away from extending the lead, and if Lucas can score him in. Good scoop by the third baseman to throw over to first, not in time, as Schmidt comes home to score. Great effort by Finch to scoop that one. That was a tough play for Finch, as that was a bit of a harder hop than normal. You could see him sort of he had to almost look it into his glove to make sure he had it there, but as a result, it cost him the time he needed to throw to first, and Schmidt came in to score to make it 7-0 St. Norbert. Scored a single for Jake Lucas. Man on first. 2 out in the inning for St. Norbert. Carson Crumry at the plate. That ball hit to third. This time Finch puts a little more air underneath it, and he gets the man at first to retire the side, but not before St. Norbert can add 4 in the fourth. It's 7-0 St. Norbert. Scarlet Hawks coming back to the plate on the other side of this break. You're watching Illinois Tech Scarlet Hawks baseball on the Scarlet Hawks Broadcast Network. Three, 4, 5 coming to the plate for Illinois Tech here in the bottom of the fourth. And it'll actually be number 3, Luke Yaknin, the left fielder, leading off. Yaknin drew a walk the first time at the plate back in the first, but he was also picked off by the pitcher Trevor Reinhardt, who to this point of the game has certainly been in control. He's only allowed 1 hit. And following that walk he gave up earlier, was able to get a quick pickoff. He also has 5 strikeouts to this point of the game. And Yaknin tries to lay down a bunt, but that one, the ball hits him, and that will be an out. And now Ed Ziefert, the head coach of Illinois Tech, is going to come in and fight for his player, Luke Yaknin. The umpire said he said Coach Ziefert has received a warning, as Ziefert's argument was that Yaknin was in the box when the contact was made. The home plate umpire saying that Yaknin was certainly in front of the plate, and as a result, Yaknin is out on the interference call. So now here's Bentz at the plate, and Bentz takes a strike. Coach Ziefert came flying in to home plate to fight for his player, Luke Yaknin there, but nothing doing to overturn the call, as now Bentz faces an 0-1 count. And now Bentz hits a chopper over to Coach Ziefert. And that'll make it an 0-2 count. Trevor Reinhardt certainly dealing right now for St. Norbert, in control. Here's the 0-2 to Bentz. Bentz hits one to second. Crosswell continuing to be active at second. Throws it over to first for another 4-3 force. And now to bring up Christopher DeGroot, the right fielder for Illinois Tech. DeGroot back in the box. DeGroot grounded out earlier to the shortstop. And in this at-bat, takes ball one to the outside corner to begin. Illinois Tech, despite the aggressive approach, having a hard time finding the necessary results to get runners on the board here. As this game continues, heading towards the fifth inning. Coach Ed Ziefert, certainly a display of animation following the questionable call on Yaknin, and now a diving effort in right field by Crumry as he's able to retire DeGroot. The golden out as the right fielder flies out to the right fielder, and that will end the fourth inning. Just a tough all-around bottom of the fourth for Illinois Tech. St. Norbert, their dugout fired up. Everyone coming off the bench for St. Norbert following that play for Crumry. Top of the fifth on the other side of this break. Crumry with a highlight reel play as we take a breather going into the top of the fifth. Scarlet Hawks make a pitching change as we go to the top of the fifth. We'll get our first look of the day at Ethan Henry, number 41 for Illinois Tech. This will be his 8th appearance of the season. 6.08 ERA for Henry to this point of the season with a 1-0 record. He's been out there for 13 in the third inning. He's got 10 strikeouts in comparison to 12 walks. He's allowed 17 runs, 9 of those 17 earned, and his batting average against for Illinois Tech sits at .245 on the season. Henry now will replace Joseph Bellflower, who allowed the 7 runs on 8 hits. And Illinois Tech really just searching for answers here against St. Norbert. And what a play by Carson Crumry, the right fielder who actually was the final out of the top of the fourth for St. Norbert, ends the bottom of the fourth with a great diving play in right field to retire Christopher DeGroot of Illinois Tech. It'll be the 7, 8, 9 hitters for St. Norbert to greet Ethan Henry. Will DeBruin, Levi Crosswell, and A.J. Kisting, beginning with Will DeBruin, who's 0 for 2 to this point of the game, with a strikeout looking and a fielder's choice ground out to Bovee at shortstop. So let's see if Ethan Henry can try to knock down the momentum that has been created by these St. Norbert hitters as we begin the top of the fifth. Chris Rouse on the call behind home plate here at Ed Glancy Field as Henry's first pitch is in for a strike. 0-1 count. Coach Ed Ziefert, saw him get animated there after the interference call retired Yaknin in the bottom half of the fourth. Meanwhile, you can see Ziefert looking on here, just hoping his team can find the answers against St. Norbert here in the first with Henry in the top of the fifth, and then when they get back to the plate in the bottom of the fifth, hopefully maybe that 6, 7, 8, the 6, 7, 8 hitters, Bovee, Juan, and Finch, can make something happen. Lucas Juan is the one batter responsible for the hit for Illinois Tech. Ball in the dirt here makes it a 1-2 count. We had an appeal down to first on the check swing from DeBruin. Henry's delivery fouled away by DeBruin. So with Henry replacing Bellflower, these are the final numbers on Joseph Bellflower today. He went 4 innings, 67 pitches, allowed 8 hits, 7 runs, 6 earned, 4 strikeouts, and 2 walks after facing 24 batters. But St. Norbert able to put 7 on the Scarlet Hawks off of those 8 hits. Meanwhile, DeBruin hits one to third, and it just gets past Finch in a left field for a base hit. So DeBruin able to reach safely for the first time today. That'll put him at 1 for 3. Third base is called the hot corner. That one not really stung as much as it usually would be on that hot corner at third. It appeared as Finch had an opportunity to get there, but maybe the ball had more steam on it than it appeared as it gets into the outfield for the 9th hit of the day for St. Norbert. Levi Crosswell will come to the plate. Crosswell has reached base both times he's been to the plate thus far, and he's also coming around to score both times. He's responsible for runs 2 and 4 of the 7 for St. Norbert. Oh, 1 count. Crosswell is also getting a lot of work in the field. He was able to retire Bentz for the second out in the bottom of the 4th. Also retired Gutsfeld for the final out back in the 3rd. 1-1 count to Crosswell. Crosswell shows bunt. Good adjustment defensively by Illinois Tech as Henry was ready to charge the ball, but they're going to say that one missed for a ball, so 2-1. So it's going to be a 2-1 count to Crosswell. He's able to pull it back in time. Henry able to check over at first on DeBruin, who's back in safely. Illinois Tech would love to get a quick inning here out of Ethan Henry, but with DeBruin already standing on first, at this point for Henry, would love to dial up the pitcher's best friend here, a double play ball. And let's see what Henry's thinking here. A couple of pickoff opportunities, and now he works to the plate for strike 2. 2-2 count. Man on first for St. Norbert's second baseman, Levi Crosswell. Crosswell entering today's game. Only 2 runs batted in, but now he'll take his base as he gets hit by the pitch.
Now batting for St. Norbert, number 23, A.J. Kisting.
So now A.J. Kisting will come to the plate. Kisting drew a walk his first time up, and then he singled and later came around to score to represent run number 5 for St. Norbert. Now first and second, nobody out as Ethan Henry has found himself into a jam here in the top of the 5th. Ball in the outside corner, misses for ball 1. A.J. Kisting. Again, he singled earlier, advanced on the hit by pitch, and then later scored on the RBI, the 2-run double from Reinhardt. He lays down the bunt. Paxson, good job charging the ball. The throw to first is in time to Riccio to get the first out of the inning for Illinois Tech. So Ethan Henry turning to his defense to help him get that first out of the inning. But St. Norbert able to move the runners into scoring position with DeBruin going to third and Croswell now standing at second. Devin Geary at the plate. That one getting away for 1. Makes it a 1-0 count. Seven runs, 9 hits, no errors in the ballgame for St. Norbert. Illinois Tech yet to score, but they have the 1 hit, no errors, as Henry tries to work out of this 1-out jam with 2 runners in scoring position. Nice block by Juan. Once again, Juan getting an active workout behind the plate here as he knocks another ball down. Meanwhile, Devin Geary, 0 for 3 to this point of the game. Geary grounded out to short. He struck out, and then he lined out to short in the top of the fourth. Maybe Geary should stay away from Matthew Bovey instead of fouling right back to me here at the backstop. 2-1 count to Geary. Matthew Bovey really has been the main one to put Geary away to this point of the game, ground out or line out. If Henry is to retire Geary here, let's see how he does it. He gets strike two, now a 2-2 count. Second and third, one away. St. Norbert would love to add on to their lead here. Push them closer to a 10-run advantage on the scoreboard. Juan takes that one in the chest and knocks it down. Ball 3. So the payoff pitch coming here against Geary, who's looking to reach the base safely for the first time today. The St. Norbert leadoff hitter is 0 for 3 here in the top of the fifth. Here's the payoff. That one misses low. That looked very close. Looked like maybe it was at the knees. The umpire says otherwise, but Geary will take his base, and he'll reach safely for the first time today.
Now batting for St. Norbert, number 11, Trevor Reinhardt.
And that will load him up for the starting pitcher, Trevor Reinhardt. Reinhardt flew out to right. He singled, and then he was later hit by a pitch earlier. He was later hit by a pitch in the fourth. When he was hit by a pitch in the fourth, he later came around to score. He was the 6th run of the day for St. Norbert. And he's helping his own cause here with the bases loaded, one away, and now a 1-0 count. We talked about Reinhardt as a pitcher for St. Norbert. Reinhardt as a hitter is the average leader for the St. Norbert Green Knights entering this game. He's played in all 27 games, a .330 hitter. He's got 2 home runs, 10 runs batted in, and a .462 on-base percentage. Those all numbers entering the day. Reinhardt gets underneath this one to the second baseman, Riccio. That's going to be an infield fly rule called by the home plate umpire. And as a result, St. Norbert thought about trying to send the runner in, but the Bruin will retreat following the second out.
Now batting for St. Norbert, number 8, Dawson Schmidt.
So now here's Dawson Schmidt. Dawson Schmidt had a double his last time up in the fourth. He later came around to score, and he's responsible for that 7 on the scoreboard for St. Norbert. Ball to Schmidt, up and in. Schmidt walked back in the first. He grounded out to third in the second, and then he doubled in the fourth and later came around to score to be run number 7 on the single from Lucas. Now he takes ball 2. Make it a 2-0 count against Ethan Henry. Henry's sort of been all over the zone since coming in for Illinois Tech, but he's just trying to keep this score at 7-0 and get the Scarlet Hawks right back to the plate. He gets a strike there to make it 2-1. Ethan Henry just trying to get out of this bases loaded jam here. Ball hit well into the air. Paxson, the first baseman, camping under. He's calling everyone off, and Paxson makes the play as Illinois Tech gets out of the fifth unscathed despite the bases loaded jam. And now the Scarlet Hawks will come back to the plate in the bottom half of the fifth. You're watching Illinois Tech Scarlet Hawks baseball here on the Scarlet Hawks Broadcast Network, live from Chicago and on YouTube Live. Bottom of the fifth here at Ed Glancy Field. It'll be the 6, 7, 8 hitters for Illinois Tech. Matthew Bovee will lead off. Bovee 0 for 1 to this point of the game. He struck out back in the second. It'll be Bovee, Juan, and Finch coming up to lead off for Illinois Tech. Bovee struck out in the second, and then we saw Juan get the first hit of the game, the only hit of the game for Illinois Tech, back in the third, followed by a strikeout from Jack Finch. So Illinois Tech hoping to change their fortunes as now still trying to get through the order for just the second time. And now finally, here they are at the 6, 7, 8 hitters. It'll be Bovee to work against Trevor Reinhardt, who's back out there for his 5th inning of work. Illinois Tech just looking to find a spark to get on the board. Bovee first pitch swinging, hits a chopper to the left side of the infield. That's going to be a tough play. So tough, in fact, that it's not going to be made as Bovee legs it out. And Illinois Tech gets the leadoff man on here in the bottom of the 5th.
Batting for the Scarlet Hawks, number 18, Lucas Juan.
Well, Bovee able to reach safely as we await the official scoring. Should be an infield single there for Bovee. Should be the second hit of the game for Illinois Tech. Here's the man with the first hit of the game in Lucas Juan. He singled back in the third. Hit a rocket right back up the gut. Second time in the box for Juan as he works against Reinhardt. Ball outside. Makes it a 1-0 count. Second hit of the day for Illinois Tech, courtesy of Bovee. And now Bovee takes a strong lead off of first. Juan hits one into left field. Well struck by Juan, but he hits it right at Perry for an easy out in left field. Solid contact indeed from Juan. It sounded as if maybe it was going to drop in front of Perry, but Perry able to just get to the spot and make the play. And now here comes Jack Finch. Second time at the plate for Finch. Finch struck out his first time up. And he was actually strikeout number 4 for Reinhardt earlier in the ballgame. Meanwhile, Finch takes the ball here to make it 1-0. Bovee stands at first. Illinois Tech, no runs, 2 hits, no errors to this point. And our ball outside, 2-0. So Illinois Tech, we've seen an aggressive approach at the plate so far for the Scarlet Hawks. We've seen a number of batters swinging at the first pitch. In fact, that's how Bovee reached. Now a more patient approach from Finch. Let's see if we can find a hitter's pitch here. Bovee will get back dirty, but he is back in safely. Remember, there was earlier in the ball game where Reinhardt was able to pick off Luke Yaknin after Yaknin worked the walk in the bottom of the first. And that, for St. Norbert, helped them keep the line in order. Bovee is caught this time, and another pickoff, second time today, where Reinhardt has caught the Scarlet Hawks leaning off of first base. Coach Ed Ziefert appears that maybe he's going to have a word with the first base umpire. He thought maybe Bovee got back in safely, but as it stands, that is the second out here in the bottom of the 5th. Second pickoff of the game. First Yaknin in the first, and now this one for the second out of the 5th inning. Now Ziefert, you've already seen him have words with the home plate umpire, Luke, after the batter's interference calling Luke Yaknin in the bottom of the 4th. And now words with the first base umpire after Bovee gets caught leaning. So two balls, no strikes to Finch. And so Finch, who had a hitter's count and a runner on, let's see how this changes his approach. And now you see him hacking here. It goes for the swing, but he misses there to make it 2-1. And now Reinhardt working away, misses, but it's going to be 3-1. 3-1 pitch coming to Jack Finch, who again struck out his first time up back in the third. And now it's a 3-2 count. And that one's going to be a foul tip right back into the glove of the catcher, A.J. Kisting. Interesting turn of events again for Illinois Tech. They get a runner on. He gets picked off. And it changes the fortunes of the inning as Finch goes down on strikes for the second time today Ryan Hart retires the side in order, and St. Norbert maintains a 7-0 advantage heading into the top of the 6th. Green Knights back to the plate when we return to Ed Glancy Field on the other side of this break. Back here at Ed Glancy Field in Chicago, Coach Ed Ziefert continues the argument here with the umpires following a pair of questionable calls in the ballgame. But now Illinois Tech really just searching for answers here against the St. Norbert Green Knights. They find themselves down 7-0 headed into this top of the 6th inning. It'll be Ethan Henry back on the mound again for his 2nd inning of work for Illinois Tech.
Leading off for St. Norbert, number 10, Matt.
And now Henry will go up against the 4, 5, 6 hitters of this St. Norbert lineup. It'll be Matt Perry, Jake Lucas, and Carson Crumry. Perry today 1 for 3. He doubled in the 3rd, struck out looking in the 1st, and then popped out to Paxson at first base in the 4th. And now strike 1 to begin the inning. Ethan Henry, see if he can settle down here in his 2nd inning of work. Appeared that maybe he was all over the zone in that 1st inning of work, but that was also a result of St. Norbert able to get base runners on early in the inning. 1-1 count as Henry works against Perry. Henry working at the belt here, but that one also misses to make it a 2-1 count to Matt Perry. Entering the game, Perry was a .247 hitter. This is 25th game played, 25th start as well. Perry gets underneath this one to center field. Gutfeld on the charge, loses his hat, but makes the play to get the first out here in the top of the 6th.
Now batting for St. Norbert, number 91, Jake Lucas.
Jake Lucas coming to the plate. Lucas 2 for 3 to this point of the game. Lucas with a pair of singles and a strikeout. Lucas singled back in the 2nd and later came around to score. He was the first run of the day for St. Norbert. But he now takes strike 1, working against Ethan Henry. 91 versus 41. Not often you see this jersey matchup. But here we are on this Saturday at Ed Glancy Field. The delivery to Lucas. And Henry working against a left-hander here. Seems a little more comfortable. He's able to get a couple of quick strikes against Lucas. See if Ethan Henry can make some quick work happen for Illinois Tech. Instead, that misses to make it a 1-2 count. The 1-2. Lucas awaits. Oh, that one looked like it was going to come back to the zone, but it just missed up, maybe up and away to make it a 2-2 count. Ethan Henry, you can see him working with confidence here now that he doesn't have the runners on to worry about, and he gets the strikeout as he gets Lucas to wave at one. Nice pitch there from Henry. First strikeout of the day for Ethan Henry. And now that'll bring up Carson Crumry, who to this point of the game he's reached base twice. He singled back in the 2nd. He reached on the fielder's choice in the 3rd, and then he grounded out to 3rd in the 4th. He grounds to Bovey here. That's going to be a tough play for Paxson. Great effort by Paxson as he tried to wave at him for the tag, but unfortunately came up empty, and Crumry is able to reach safely. Remember, Crumry had that nice play in the field earlier on a diving catch to retire DeGroot. This time he catches a break as Paxson had a great effort to try to wave and tag him, but was unsuccessful in making contact. That would be credited as a base hit for Crumry. So that'll be the 10th hit of the ball game for St. Norbert. Will DeBruin at the plate. DeBruin reached safely for the first time when he came up in the 5th. He singled, and he was later stranded. He struck out looking back in the 2nd, also hit into a fielder's choice in the 3rd. And now faces a 2-0 count. So has a 2-0 hitters count here with a runner on first. Crumry taking a pretty healthy lead off of first. But with 2 away, it's almost safe. Henry will work to the batter. DeGroot going back to the wall. DeGroot gets the glove up and makes the catch to retire the side. Quick inning for Ethan Henry as he's able to get St. Norbert, put St. Norbert back into the dugout, and he'll get the Scarlet Hawks back to the box. Bottom of the 6th coming up on the other side of this break. This is Illinois Tech Scarlet Hawks baseball on the Scarlet Hawks Broadcast Network and on YouTube Live.
Number 8, Mario Riccio.
Mario Riccio will lead off for Illinois Tech here in the bottom of the 6th. Scarlet Hawks trailing 7-0 at the hands of the St. Norbert Green Knights. 7 runs, 10 hits, no errors for St. Norbert. No runs, 2 hits, no errors for Illinois Tech. As Riccio, the 9-hitter, comes up. So the lineup will turn over for Illinois Tech here in the bottom of the 6th with Riccio then turning over to Michael Paxson and Tyler Gutsfeld. Still working against Trevor Reinhardt, the starting pitcher and designated hitter for the St. Norbert Green Knights. So he's hitting for himself today. And Reinhardt able to work 2 quick strikes against Riccio. Reinhardt also working quickly here. That was a very quick 3 pitches to the plate. I don't even think that was a full minute, and he already delivered 3 pitches against Riccio. Reinhardt looking for the put away. The 1-2 bounces in the dirt. Oh, it may have hurt the catcher Kisting, who appears to be doubled over behind home plate. And that'll bring out a member of the St. Norbert coaching staff to check on the catcher, A.J. Kisting, as he may have caught that one a little bit too far south. Kisting is up and walking it off here in the 2-2 count. See Kisting just trying to walk it off here after making that catch in a favorable or unfavorable spot here. And Kisting's going to get right back in his crouch position for the 2-2. And they strike Riccio out. Reinhardt continuing to deal on the mound. Another strikeout for Trevor Reinhardt. Second time today he struck out Mario Riccio. In fact, Reinhardt has struck out Finch and Riccio, the 8-9 hitters, both 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts. The lineup now will turn over for Michael Paxson. Paxson drew a walk his last time up in the 3rd. And the first pitch here, outside for a ball. Paxson grounded out to Reinhardt in the 1st, then drew the walk in the 3rd. 0 for 1 of the day. Kisting unable to handle that one as it slips off his glove to make it a 2-0 count to Paxton. This game looking eerily similar to both games in that doubleheader against Aurora, where Illinois Tech just struggling to keep the ball fair. There's another well-hit ball from Paxton, but it pulls it all the way left for a foul ball. Gutsfeld on deck. Gutsfeld also struggling to get it going today. He's 0 for 2 with a strikeout, and he grounded out to second. That's a good pitch from Reinhardt. That's right down the middle. Put it right down 31st Street, so to speak, there, as Paxton was unable to make contact. The 2-2. Paxton gets underneath this one, pops it straight into the air. That's going to go to the center fielder, Geary. We haven't seen him too much in the field, but he'll get active here to retire Paxton.
Now batting number 5, Tyler Gutsfeld.
And so here comes the aforementioned Tyler Gutsfeld. Gutsfeld 0 for 2 to this point of the game. He struck out and he grounded out to second. Struck out in the first, grounded out to second in the third. Up for the third time here in the sixth. It's Illinois Tech still trying to solve the puzzle that is Trevor Reinhardt. 7 strikeouts for Reinhardt. He's allowed 2 hits. He's also walked a couple. And the 0-1 to Gutsfeld. That one bounces off the plate. Kisting making a clean swipe out of the dirt this time, after taking a bit of an awkward catch earlier in the inning. Here's the 1-1. Gutsfeld able to get his legs out of the way and to make it a 2-1 count to the Illinois Tech home run hitter, the leader of home runs for the Illinois Tech Scarlet Hawks. 8 home runs this season for Gutsfeld. 24 batting in, also leads the way. Leads the way in slugging as well at 727. These are all the numbers entering the day. But now he takes a strike. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 away, as Gutsfeld looks to avoid what would be his second strikeout of the day. Reinhardt working quickly, the delivery to the plate. Gutsfeld fouls that one back. So Gutsfeld able to stay alive for another pitch here. Reinhardt, to this point of the game, above 75 pitches, as Gutsfeld fouls that one away. For Reinhardt, that was pitch number 78 to this point of the ball game. And now Gutsfeld awaiting pitch 79 here. 2-2 again. Strikes him out. Reinhardt with another strikeout, his 8th of the game, the second time he struck out Gutsfeld. And St. Norbert continues to remain in control. They lead it 7-0 heading into the 7th. We'll be back with more here on the Scarlet Hawks Broadcast Network and on YouTube Live after this quick break. Trevor Reinhardt has been dealing for the St. Norbert Green Knights through 6 innings. He's thrown 83 pitches, has only allowed 2 hits. He's given up 2 walks, but he struck out 8 after facing 20 batters. Meanwhile, on the other side, Illinois Tech with Ethan Henry back out for his 3rd inning of work. He's thrown 38 pitches, allowed 2 hits. He struck out 1 and walked 1, getting ready to face batters 11, 12, and 13 for him today.
Number 29, Levi Crosswell.
And it'll be Levi Crosswell, the 8-9 one-hitters coming up for St. Norbert here in the top of the 7th. Crosswell, the second baseman, batting 8th. Kisting due up second, and then Devin Geary to follow. Henry looking for another quick inning of work for Illinois Tech. And he starts this one out with a strike to Crosswell. Levi Crosswell today has reached base safely all 3 times he's been up. He's been hit by a pitch twice, and he doubled back in the 4th. He's come around to score twice, responsible for runs 2 and 4 of those 7 on the board for St. Norbert. The 1-1 count. Crosswell chasing one on that outside corner. Illinois Tech has actually they've had control on that outside corner against the right-handed hitters today. Even when Bellflower was out there, you see St. Norbert chasing a lot of pitches on that outside corner, and Crosswell chasing one there. The 1-2. Same spot, and the punch out. Good pitch there by Henry as he goes right back to the same spot to get the strikeout, second of the day for Ethan Henry. He struck out Jake Lucas in the 6th. Now he strikes out Levi Crosswell here in the top of the 7th. It'll be A.J. Kisting coming up here. Catcher Kisting in the box as a hitter here after having a bit of an awkward catch in that last top of the half, but it appears that he's okay and running fine as he's rounding first and on his way to second. Kisting is going to get in standing up. A.J. Kisting with a 1-out double. Third time that he's reached safely. He drew a walk in the 2nd, he singled in the 4th, and now a double here in the 7th.
Now batting number 3, Devin Geary.
So that'll turn the lineup over for St. Norbert with Devin Geary. For Kisting, that was his 7th double of the season. And now, with a 7-0 advantage, the lineup turns over for the Green Knights. Kisting jumped on that pitch, sent it right into left center field. And great hustle around the bags for the catcher as he was able to reach safely. Geary misses outside for ball 1. Or actually watches Henry miss outside for ball 1. Geary with a ahead 1-0 early in the count. Geary hits one in the right center field. Kisting chugging hard around third. Ball mishandled by DeGroot. That's going to almost assure Kisting will score. Running hard around second is Geary. Geary on his way to third. That throw is well behind. And just like that, Geary plates one and then puts himself 90 feet from becoming another run. St. Norbert continuing to pour it on here in the top of the 7th. 8-0 Green Knights.
Now batting for St. Norbert, number 11, Trevor Reinhardt.
Great hustle by Geary. He was hustling out of the box. And as a result, he'll go all the way to third base. Also, the group with the mishandle out there in right field. They do score that in error, so so that'll likely be a single and E9 on the group. Kisting able to score, making it 8-0. Try to get the official score on that. If that was a single or a double there for Geary, but almost certainly that's a single and an E9 on the group. Meanwhile, Reinhardt back at the plate. He fouls one off to 31st Street, and that one just missing a car. And that's some of those normal foul balls we talk about here at Ed Glancy Field when you have that oncoming traffic. Luckily, that car just a bit quicker than the landing. The 1-1. Bounces away from Juan. Makes it a 2-1 count. 2-1 count with Reinhardt in the box. If you're unfamiliar with NCAA Division III baseball, the early termination rule begins in the top of the 7th. It begins in the 7th inning, and that rule is if a team has a 10-run advantage, the home team will at least get to be due up in the bottom of the 7th, and that will be their last opportunity to hit. It's worth mentioning now because St. Norbert has run number 9 90 feet away from scoring, and run number 10 is at the plate. Reinhardt chops one foul, and here's a 3-2 count. 8 runs, 12 hits, no errors for St. Norbert. No runs, 2 hits, 1 error for Illinois Tech. If St. Norbert were to shut out Illinois Tech, this would be back-to-back games in which the Scarlet Hawks were shut out here at Ed Glancy Field. Reinhardt hits that one just over my head here at the table. And that one goes foul. Illinois Tech outscored 28-3 in the doubleheader on Tuesday against Aurora. It was an 18-3 loss in game 1, and then a clean 10-0 loss in game 2. The 3-2. Reinhardt fouls another one off towards the right field side. Ethan Henry just trying to get the second out of the inning here for Illinois Tech. Also just trying to keep that runner at third where he is. Reinhardt draws the walk. They thought about sending Geary. Instead, he'll just sneak back safely. And that'll keep the line moving for Dawson Schmidt. So runners on the corners now for St. Norbert. With one away for the shortstop, Schmidt. The official scoring on that hit from Geary, as expected, a single, and then he advanced on the error from the group. Meanwhile, Dawson Schmidt takes a ball. It's a 1-0 count as Ethan Henry. Now you just want to try to keep Illinois Tech from running into the early termination rule. This is going to be likely a sac fly to center field as Gutsfeld makes the grab. Geary on his way home. That'll make it 9-0 St. Norbert. Sacrifice fly there from Schmidt. And that allows Geary to come in, representing the 9th run of the day for the Green Knights. That'll bring up Matt Perry. Already the 5th time Perry will step into the box today. Perry 1 for 4 to this point of the ball game. He doubled back in the 3rd. And he takes a strike to begin this at bat. Man on first, 2 away for St. Norbert. But if they can score one more run here in the 7th, would activate the early termination rule, and Illinois Tech will be down to their final 3 outs in the bottom of the 7th. But Henry, with 1 out, just needs the 1 out to get out of this 7th inning. Juan unable to handle. Juan's throw. The ball is dropped, and that will allow Reinhardt to advance and put him in scoring position with 2 away. Good throw by Juan, but it appeared that Riccio, when he got there, maybe took his eye off the ball, or when he was trying to, or maybe in his effort to sweep tag, just lost it. And it allowed the runner to reach safely. The 1-1. Makes it 2-1. Remember, if St. Norbert can score Reinhardt here, would activate the early termination rule. Instead, this is going to be popped right into the air by Perry. Bovey gets underneath it, and Illinois Tech will come to the plate here in the bottom of the 7th. And we know we will at least play the 8th inning. Time to stretch here at Ed Glancy Field. Illinois Tech looking to wake their bats up in the bottom of the 7th. We'll be back with more here on the Scarlet Hawks Broadcast Network after this. St. Norbert leads it 9-0. You're watching Illinois Tech Scarlet Hawks baseball here on the Scarlet Hawks Broadcast Network. This is game one of our doubleheader between the Illinois Tech Scarlet Hawks and the St. Norbert Green Knights. Game two of our doubleheader scheduled for approximately 3 p.m. here at Ed Glancy Field. There will be at least a 30-minute intermission in between games 1 and 2. But right now, St. Norbert with a 9-0 advantage as we begin the bottom of the 7th. Trevor Reinhardt on the hill for his 7th inning of work. And he works a ball on the outside corner to Luke Yaknin. Yaknin 0 for 1. He drew a walk in the first and then was retired on batter's interference back in the 4th. Yaknin with a well-hit ball in the left field, but it's run down again by Perry. And those St. Norbert outfielders, they've been on point today. Perry running one down. We saw Crumrye with a diving catch earlier. And now Perry adding his own highlight. So Phillip Bentz now will come to the plate. And Bentz to this point of the game 0 for 2 with a strikeout looking and a ground out to second. First pitch from Reinhardt on the outside corner, in for a strike. And you see Reinhardt starting to find his placement on that outside corner. He's actually doing it early on, as now Bentz hits one in the left center field. That's going to be trouble for St. Norbert, and it gets down. Bentz rounding first on his way to second, and Phillip Bentz with a one-out double gives Illinois Tech a sign of life here in game one. Third hit of the game for Illinois Tech. And Illinois Tech, no runs, 3 hits, 1 error. But now Bentz standing in scoring position with Christopher DeGroot coming to the plate. DeGroot 0 for 2 to this point of the ball game. Popped out to short back in the second. And then he flew out to right, which was the nice diving play by Crumrye back in the fourth, to end the fourth. And DeGroot, a bit of a check there, but that's in for a strike. 0-1 to DeGroot. Reinhardt taking a long look at Bentz over there at second. Now the ball gets away from the catcher, Kisting, who actually didn't know where it went. Bentz gets to third safely. He rounds, but it clearly won't go as Kisting has now found the ball just behind the backstop. But now Bentz 90 feet away from being the first run of the day for Illinois Tech. This could go a long way in terms of keeping Illinois Tech out of the zone of early termination here, down 9-0 going to the top of the 8th. And now it appears that St. Norbert, one of the first times today we'll see the Green Knights really go talk to Reinhardt on the hill. Trevor Reinhardt has done a great job to this point of the ball game. Certainly has been dealing for St. Norbert. And for Reinhardt, he has 8 strikeouts. He has allowed now 3 hits thanks to that double from Bentz and only 2 walks. But that pitch count for Reinhardt also beginning to get up there. He came into this inning at 83 pitches, sits at 87 as he gets ready to take on DeGroot. And so Illinois Tech, so it appears that maybe that mound visit was just an opportunity for St. Norbert to get some activity in the bullpen, as it appears they do have a right-hander going down to that left field bullpen. Meanwhile, Reinhardt working against DeGroot, the 1-1. And he gets the strike. 1-2 count. Having a hard time seeing the jersey number of the pitcher down in that left field bullpen. But Reinhardt working against DeGroot misses in the dirt. It's a 2-2 count. Is Illinois Tech looking to just get on the scoreboard here in the bottom of the 7th. The delivery to DeGroot. DeGroot chops one foul. Foul on the first base side. And good job by DeGroot hanging in there, making Reinhardt work as that pitch count continues to rise for the St. Norbert starting pitcher here in game one. The 2-2. Missed up and away. Makes it a 3-2 count. Full count pitch. Let's see if DeGroot can find a way to reach safely here. Here is the payoff. And DeGroot couldn't catch up to the one at the belt, and he'll go down on strikes. 9th strikeout of the game for Reinhardt as he retires DeGroot. And now here comes Matthew Bovey. Bovey is 1 for 2 today. He's also been a victim of the strikeout. That was back in the 2nd. But then he singled his 2nd time up back in the 5th, but was picked off by Reinhardt. Which, by the way, Reinhardt with 2 pickoffs in this ball game, picking off Yaknin in the 1st. And Yaknin back in the 1st, and then Bovey back in the 5th. Oh, 1 to Bovey. And Bovey fouls that one off. And already at a 2-strike count for Bovey, as Illinois Tech would love to bring Bentz home here and get on the scoreboard in the bottom of the 7th. The 0-2. Outside corner, strikeout number 10 for Reinhardt as he retires Bovey for the 2nd time via the K. He struck him out swinging in the 2nd, catches him looking here in the 7th. And it's a 9-0 advantage for St. Norbert heading into the top of the 8th. The Green Knights thoroughly in control of this one. Scarlet Hawks searching for answers. We'll see what they come up with on the other side of this break. Let's see if they can get a quick inning to get back to the plate in the 8th when we come back here on the Scarlet Hawks Broadcast Network. Top of the 8th here at Ed Glancy Field in Chicago. Chris Rouse on the call here behind home plate. New pitcher entering the game for the Illinois Tech Scarlet Hawks will be number 15, Mason Kim. This will be his 6th appearance of the season. Got an 11.88 ERA and through an 8 1/3 inning on the season. Has struck out 4. He's walked 12. He's given up 15 hits, 20 runs. 11 of those 20 have been earned. A 385 batting average against. He's allowed 6 extra base hits, 4 doubles, 2 triples. No homers allowed this season for Kim. And now he'll lead off. He'll lead off against the 5, 6, 7 hitters of St. Norbert. Jake Lucas, the first batter faced. Lucas takes a cut and fouls it off to the left side over towards the buses that brought the St. Norbert Green Knights here to Chicago. Mason Kim, one of those Scarlet Hawk players celebrating Senior Day. We'll have the Senior Day celebration after the games later today here on the Scarlet Hawks Broadcast Network. Remember, still to come, Game 2 of our doubleheader, scheduled for approximately 3 p.m. There'll be at least a 30-minute intermission in between Games 1 and 2 for field maintenance as Lucas gets underneath this one and hits it over to left field. Yaknin camps underneath, and that's a quick first out as Mason Kim retires the first batter faced.
Now batting for St. Norbert, number 13, Carson Krumrai.
So now here comes Carson Krumrai, who we saw earlier today with a beautiful diving catch out in right field to retire Christopher DeGroot back in the 4th inning. Krumrai today has a pair of singles. He's reached base safely 3 times. He reached once on the fielder's choice, and then he grounded out to third. Pitch here, he fouls off towards 31st Street for strike 1. Mason Kim, the right-hander for Illinois Tech. Senior out of Culver City, California. You know about anything about Culver City, California, that's where a lot of television shows have been filmed, sort of in the Hollywood area. But right now, Kim is trying to get a quick 1-2-3 inning for Illinois Tech in the top of the 8th. Crumrod takes one on the outside corner, makes it a 1-2 count. Mason Kim looking in. Got oddly quiet here at Ed Glancy Field. We get a ground ball to short. Bovee on the scoop, throw across the infield, and Mason Kim comes in and able to get a quick 2 outs on Lucas and Crumrod.
Number 15, Will DeBruin.
And now he'll face Will DeBruin as he looks to go 3 up, 3 down for Illinois Tech in the game here in the 8th inning. If I'm not mistaken, this would be the first 1-2-3 inning for Illinois Tech today, as they try to get out of this 8th inning unscathed. St. Norbert had 3 in the 2nd, 4 in the 4th, and 2 in the 7th. And as a result, they stand on top on the scoreboard 9-0. There's a liner hit right to Bovee. Good job by Bovee to stab it out of the dirt and make the play. Back-to-back ground outs to short as Bovee gets active with the glove. 3 up, 3 down inning for Mason Kim. That'll get the Scarlet Hawks back into the box. On the other side of this break, bottom of the 8th coming up here on the Scarlet Hawks Broadcast Network. Nothing advantage for the St. Norbert Green Knights, but that will be the end of the day for their starting pitcher, Trevor Reinhardt. Entering the game now will be number 4, Cooper Dykes. Dykes will be making his 8th appearance of the season.
Number 4, Cooper Dykes.
And Dykes comes in with a .470 ERA and a 1-0 record. For Dykes this season, he's pitched in 15 in the 3rd inning. He struck out 11 batters. He's walked 5. He's allowed 14 hits and 8 runs allowed. All of his 8 have been earned. .246 batting average against for Dykes to this point of the season. He'll replace Reinhardt, who delivered a beyond solid performance for St. Norbert as he controlled the Illinois Tech offense today through 7 innings of work. Only allowed 3 hits. He struck out 10. He gave up 3 hits, but he walked 2 batters through 97 pitches to this point of the game. Lucas Wan in the box now for Illinois Tech. Takes a pair of balls for an early 2-0 count. It'll be the 7, 8, 9 hitters for Illinois Tech with Juan, Finch, and Riccio coming up. And Juan hits that one off the leg of Dykes. It ricochets over towards the shortstop. And Lucas Juan, with his 2nd hit of the day, reaches safely here in the 8th. Almost similar to the hit Juan had earlier in the game back in the 3rd, except that one was airborne. This one stayed on the ground. It was a liner right off the leg of Dykes. That was going to be a tough play for anyone after it ricocheted off what appeared to be the right foot of Dykes and went over to the shortstop, where it was just going to be a tough play for Schmidt to make anyway, as Juan was in safely. 4th hit of the game for Illinois Tech. Juan with 2 of those 4. It'll be Jack Finch at the plate. And here's the part of the order for Illinois Tech between Finch and Riccio, the 8-9 hitters, both 0 for 4, 4 strikeouts. Combined 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts. Riccio struck out twice. Finch has struck out twice. And now a 1-0 count to Finch. They check over on Juan, and Juan back safely. Illinois Tech has had a pair of runners picked off today. Yakinen back in the first by Reinhardt, and Bovee back in the fifth, also by Reinhardt. Meanwhile, there's a chopper at the plate from Finch to foul it off to make it a 1-1 count. Xavier Minor hitting now for Illinois Tech. They appear they're going to try to change up the... Remember, the bottom of the order, 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts to this point. And there's Minor with a hit up the middle into center field. Base hit for Minor. And now that puts Juan at second. And now, as opposed to Riccio, to be Tom Kramer coming to the ball game. Kramer played catcher in the game 2 on Tuesday against Aurora, and now he'll hit for Riccio here in the 8th. So Minor standing at first, Juan at second. Five hits in the game now for Illinois Tech as they go against the first pitcher used out of the pen for St. Norbert in Dykes. See if Kramer could try to get that first run across the plate today for Illinois Tech. Kramer, a .222 hitter. This is 8th game played this season for Illinois Tech. And he gets a strike on the outside corner and make it 0-2. First and second, nobody out. Good opportunity for Illinois Tech to try to scratch one across here. Let's see if Cooper Dykes can have something else to say about that here. Takes a long look at Juan. And that ball misses outside for a 1-2 count. Xavier Minor standing over there at first base, the first-year player out of Chicago, Illinois. Attended Gwendolyn Brooks High School. If you've ever been to Brooks, they have a blue football field like Boise State, but there's a strikeout of Kramer as he goes down looking for the first out of the inning. And now that'll bring up Michael Paxson with one away here in the 8th. Gwendolyn Brooks actually has put out a few pretty good baseball players as of late. Mentioned Minor over there first. I know UIC has a player that also attended Gwendolyn Brooks, James Harris. As now there's a ball in the dirt to make it 1-0. Paxson today drew a walk back in the third. And now he watches this looping breaking ball fall in for ball 2. Paxson grounded out back in the first. He walked in the third, and he flew out to center in the 6th. Runners in scoring position. Runner in scoring position is Juan. Paxson gets underneath one. Almost hit a dove that flew just over the field as he made contact. And Paxson, for the second time, will fly out to center field as Geary makes the catch. And now Tyler Gutsfeld will come up with 2 away. It's been a rough day for Gutsfeld, 0 for 3 to this point of the ball game. A pair of strikeouts and a ground out back in the third. He struck out in the first, struck out in the 6th, and then the ground out to second was back in the third. First and second, 2 away Cooper Dykes looking to get out of this one without allowing a run if he can retire Gutsfeld. First pitch, misses for a ball. Mentioned how Gutsfeld this season has certainly been an impressive hitter, the home run leader for Illinois Tech, but even last season, how he used to hit for average and hit for extra base hits was impressive on this roster. But as of late, going back to the game against Aurora and in today's game, he's been held in check by the opposing pitchers. 2-0 count to Gutsfeld here in the 8th. Still to come, game 2 of our doubleheader, scheduled for approximately 3 p.m. as Gutsfeld takes a strike. Remember, there will be at least a 30-minute intermission for field maintenance in between both games 1 and 2. And also our Senior Day festivities honoring all of the Illinois Tech Scarlet Hawks seniors. We saw in the pregame they honored Timmy Old with a special ceremony as Gutsfeld gives one a ride to right. That ball's going back and gone for Tyler Gutsfeld. His 9th of the season, and it gets Illinois Tech on the board here in the 8th. Well, we mentioned how impressive Tyler Gutsfeld has been this season. He shows it off there with another home run. He launches one over the right field wall, his 9th bomb of the season, and it gets Illinois Tech on the board as they plate 3 on the 3-run homer from Gutsfeld. 9 home runs, 27 batted in on the year for Gutsfeld following that homer. So Illinois Tech able to get on the board thanks to the home run from Gutsfeld. And now ball 1 delivered to Yaknin. Yaknin reached base safely earlier via the walk. And then later was retired on batter's interference, and he flew out to left. This time he will fly out to center to end the 8th. But Illinois Tech gets on the board here in the bottom of the 8th. St. Norbert still leads at 9-3. Top 9 coming up on the other side of this break here on the Scarlet Hawks Broadcast Network. Bit of a change of fortunes for Illinois Tech in that 8th inning. Mason Kim came in, had a 3-up, 3-down inning in the field, and then the Scarlet Hawks were able to put 3 across on the 3-run homer from Tyler Gutsfeld as we get ready to begin the top of the 9th with St. Norbert coming to the box with a 9-3 lead. Elsewhere in Illinois Tech Scarlet Hawks athletics over at Stewart Field, in women's lacrosse action, Illinois Tech with a 10-9 win today over Lawrence University. 6 goals for Tony Martinez to put her at a career total of 105 as Illinois Tech got the win 10-9 over women's lacrosse today. But here in baseball, this is game 1 of 2 to be played. Illinois Tech hoping that 8th inning can be helpful to a change of fortunes, if not here in game 1, but also to game 2 of our doubleheader, as Mason Kim will now see the 8-9 one-hitters for St. Norbert, beginning with Levi Crosswell. First pitch to Crosswell, up and hits him. That's the 3rd time today Crosswell has been hit, and he'll take his base.
Now batting for St. Norbert, number 23, A.J. Kisting.
Crosswell was hit back in the 2nd, came around to score, and he was hit back in the 5th. There he was stranded into a fielder's choice. So now Crosswell standing over at first. here in the top of the ninth as A.J. Kisting comes to the plate. Kisting has scored twice today. He's runs number 5 and 8 for St. Norbert. Crosswell has also come around to score twice, representing runs number 2 and 4 for the Green Knights. Here's a 1-0 count as Kim works against Kisting. Crosswell keeping a simple lead over there at first. Didn't really give much of a jump, but a strike in there anyway from Kim. Kim did a great job with the 3-up, 3-down inning in the 8th. Got a fly out to left out of Jake Lucas and then a pair of ground outs to Matthew Bovey over at short to retire Kremrye into Bruin. Now he gets a hearty cut out of Kisting, and Kisting swings and misses for strike 2. Mason Kim looking to retire Kisting, get that first out of the 9th inning. The 1-2. Kim tried to deliver quickly there. Paxton's going to have to charge towards the dugout. He's going to run out of room as that one lands off the Jim Dara dugout here at Ed Glancy Field. And so now a 1-2 count to Kisting. Kisting walked back in the second. He singled, later came around to score in the 4th. He grounded into a fielder's choice in the 5th, and then he doubled and later scored in the 7th. Looking to avoid a strikeout here in the 9th. You can see Kim could tell he lost the grip on that one. He immediately licked his fingers. Also shook his head as he let that one go. So 2-2 count. Mason Kim takes a check on that runner at first. The delivery, outside corner. Maybe a little too much heat on that one as he sort of lost the touch that he had in the 8th inning, looking for the fastballs here. But let's see where he goes here on the 3-2 count to try to get the put away. That one in the dirt. It gets past Juan. Crosswell advanced over to second, and Kisting will take his base at first.
Now batting for St. Norbert, number 3, Devin Geary.
Devin Geary will come to the plate here. Geary this will be his 6th plate appearance today. He grounded out, struck out, he's lined out, he's walked, and he's singled in the game. Now he takes ball 1. As Mason Kim looks to settle himself down here after allowing 2 early base runners in the 9th. Kim takes a long look at that runner at second in Crosswell, and he gets one over for a strike, 1-1. Seen a number of pitchers today, whenever they get that runner on second, you see that long look to make sure that runner isn't going anywhere. But as we saw earlier out of Bellflower, we also saw out of Reinhardt of St. Norbert and Kim. It has been a problem at times, but not on that pitch from Kim. However, the following pitch does miss for ball 2. The delivery missed outside. 3-1 count. As Kim works to Geary. The 3-1. Kim again, a long look at Crosswell, who's jumping off the base at second. Geary rips one in the left field. That's going to get down for a hit. Crosswell rounding third on his way to the plate. He'll score easily, making it 10-3 St. Norbert. Third time today, Crosswell has come around to score. He represents runs 2, 4, and now 10 for St. Norbert on the scoreboard. And now Kisting advances over to third as Illinois Tech sort of fell asleep defensively as now Geary stands in at first. 10 runs, 13 hits. No errors for the St. Norbert Green Knights. Meanwhile, 3 runs, 6 hits, 1 error for Illinois Tech. Puts runners on the corners now for St. Norbert, as Trevor Reinhardt gets ready to step back into the box. Reinhardt today, he's flown out to right field. He's singled. He was hit by a pitch in the fourth and later came around to score, representing run number 6. He flew out on an infield fly rule back in the fifth, and then he walked in the seventh and was stranded on base. The pitch from Kim misses high for a ball. Kim working against the starting pitcher for St. Norbert, who obviously was the designated hitter for himself, now designated hitter for the pitcher Dykes. Now Reinhardt whips one into right center field. That's going to go all the way to the back fence. That easily scores Kisting. Geary is rounding third on his way to the plate. Reinhardt holds up. 2-run double for Reinhardt as he plates another pair of runs to make it 12-3.
Now batting for St. Norbert, number 8, Dawson Schmidt.
St. Norbert continuing to just pour it on here against Illinois Tech. And now Reinhardt, what a day he's had at the plate. He scored a run. He also had a pretty big hit earlier in the ballgame for St. Norbert, where he's knocked in a pair as well. So 4 batted in for Reinhardt on top of the strong pitching performance he delivered as well. Fourteenth hit of the game there for St. Norbert, thanks to the one from Reinhardt. And now a 1-0 count with a man on second. Mason Kim with the pitch. In for a strike, 1-1. Kim working against Dawson Schmidt. Schmidt doubled back in the fourth and later came around to score, representing run number 7. He also had a sacrifice fly in the 7th. He had a grounder over to Bovey. Bovey will scoop it up and make the play at first for out number 1.
Now batting for St. Norbert, number 10, Matt Perry.
So Matt Perry will come to the plate with Reinhardt now moving over the third. 1 out in the inning. Mason Kim did a great job in that 8th inning. Well, whatever St. Norbert saw, they've adjusted, and they've been able to add 3 more runs here in the 9th. One out, 1 on, 1 away here in the 9th. Kim's delivery to the plate. It's blocked by Juan. Good block by Lucas Juan for ball 1. Saw Illinois Tech give a bit of a valiant effort there in the 8th inning with Kim going 3 up, 3 down, and then the 3-run homer from Gutsfeld. But St. Norbert here in the 9th adding on 12 runs, 14 hits, no errors for St. Norbert. We got 3 runs, 6 hits, no errors for Illinois Tech. Bovey touches that one off of a high chopper. The runner comes in to score, but Bovey able to retire Perry. Second time Bovey has retired a batter in the inning.
St. Norbert, number 91, Jake Lucas.
Reinhardt scores, making it 13-3 St. Norbert. This will bring Jake Lucas to the plate. Lucas singled back in the 2nd and later came around to score, representing the first run of the day for St. Norbert. But since then, it's been a bit of an adventure for him at the plate. A pair of strikeouts and a fly out to left. He did single in the 4th. So 2 for 5 day for Lucas. And there's a strike from Kim to make it 1-1. Saw Illinois Tech go to some reserves in that bottom half of the 8th. And now here's an effort to make the play in right, but that gets away from DeGroot. And Lucas gets one down, his 3rd hit of the day, a 3 for 6 day for Lucas. And St. Norbert.
Now batting for St. Norbert, number 13, Carson Krumrine.
Bring Carson Krumrine to the plate. And Crumrye, more known for what he's done in the field today, had a beautiful diving catch in right field, about the same spot where we just saw DeGroot. And it was actually to retire DeGroot earlier in the game. That was back in the bottom of the fourth, to end the fourth. Crumrye has reached base safely 3 times today, 2 singles, 1 fielder's choice. But he's grounded out twice as well to the left side of the infield. Grounding out to third in the fourth, grounded out to short in the 8th. 1-0 count to Crumrye. And he takes the ball high, makes it a 2-0 count. Mason Kim, 1 out away from getting out of this 9th inning, but St. Norbert already with 4 on the board in the inning. 15 hits in the game for the Green Knights. And a nice pitch from Kim as he gets the strike. 2-1 count. Kim keeping an eye on that runner at first. Now he gets the ball popped into the air. Paxson and DeGroot both in pursuit. Paxson heading towards the fence. And that one just gets out of play on the foul ball. Remember, still to come, Game 2 of our doubleheader. Approximately 30 minutes following the conclusion of this game. Be a brief intermission for field maintenance. And then we'll get the lineups from both teams, and we'll get this thing going for Game 2. Also still to come, Senior Day festivities for the remaining seniors that were not honored in the pregame. We saw Coach Ed Ziefer with a special presentation for Timmy Old in the pregame ceremonies of today's game. As now Mason Kim misses on the outside. And there's a lengthy list of seniors today for Illinois Tech. So definitely join us for that here on the Scarlet Hawks Broadcast Network. Also available on YouTube Live. 3-2 count coming. Here's the payoff from Kim. The runner goes, and that's a strikeout as Kim strikes out Crumrye looking, and that ends the top of the 9th. But St. Norbert, for the second time today, they add 4. They had 4 in the 4th. They put up 4 in the 9th, and they extend their lead to 10. It's 13-3 Green Knights. Final 3 outs of Game 1 for Illinois Tech after this break. Dylan Heyer, the new pitcher for St. Norbert, to come in here in the 9th inning as the St. Norbert Green Knights find themselves 3 outs away from what would be their 9th win of the season. They came in at 8-18, 3-11 in conference play. All 3 of their conference wins have been on the road, and that trend about 3 outs from continuing. If Heyer can get through this part of the order against Illinois Tech, he'll see Bentz, DeGroot, and Bovee. They are the due-up batters for Illinois Tech here in the home 9th. And let's see if Illinois Tech can put something on the board here one last time before we split for actions of Game 2 and also for the Senior Day festivities. It'll be Bentz in the box to welcome Heyer, who replaces Cooper Dykes. Cooper Dykes went 1 inning, gave up 3 hits, and gave up the 3 runs for Illinois Tech. First pitch for Heyer, in for a strike. For Dylan Heyer, this is his 10th appearance this season. 1.38 ERA, 2-1 record. He's pitched 13 innings, struck out 9. He's walked 7. He's allowed 8 hits, 4 runs allowed, 2 of those 4 earned. A 160 batting average against for Heyer this season. And already has strike 2 on Bentz. Heyer sends that one in to Bentz. And Bentz, despite that one hitting him, takes a cut and that'll foul it away. Pitch to Bentz. Caught him swinging. Strikes him out. Second time today, Bentz has struck out. Struck out back in the second. Strikes out here in the ninth. And now to be DeGroot up for Illinois Tech with 1 away in the inning. First pitch to DeGroot. Misses for ball. DeGroot today 0 for 3. He popped out to short, he flew out to center, and he struck out swinging. But now he finds himself in a 2-0 count. In a favorable 2-0 count here in the bottom of the ninth. Heyer taking his time, getting into his rhythm, very uncharacteristic compared to the other St. Norbert pitchers we've seen today with Reinhardt and Dykes. But Heyer finds the strike for strike 1. Heyer working. Tried to work away this time from DeGroot, but he misses outside for a 3-1 count. See if DeGroot has you would think maybe this late in the ball game, maybe he does have the green light here, but we'll find out in just a moment. Heyer gets the sign, and here's the delivery. Green light indeed, but DeGroot fouls it away. Payoff pitch coming in a 3-2 count against DeGroot. And here's the delivery from Heyer. DeGroot hits it to second, and Crosswell able to scoop it up. And it just seems like Levi Crosswell has done a great job today in shutting down Illinois Tech rallies. Another ground out to second. And now here comes Matthew Bovee, who will likely represent the last chance for Illinois Tech here in Game 1. To this point, St. Norbert with 13 runs, 15 hits, no errors on the day. Meanwhile, Illinois Tech, 3 runs, 6 hits, and 1 error. Here's Bovee. First pitch to Bovee is a strike. Bovee today has struck out twice. He struck out in the second. He singled back in the 5th, and then he struck out looking in the 7th. Facing an 0-1 count here against Heyer. That ball in the other batter's box from Heyer and make it a 1-1 count. Remember, still to come, Game 2 of our doubleheader. Approximately 30 minutes after the final out of this ball game. And, of course, the Illinois Tech Scarlet Hawks Senior Day presentation, which we will broadcast for you. All of that still to come here on the Scarlet Hawks Broadcast Network and on YouTube Live. We'll have a programming update once we can confirm the timing or in the order of the Senior Day festivities and the game. But right now, Bovee in a 2-1 count. Dylan Heyer looking to wrap up Game 1 for St. Norbert. Bovee hits one right up the chute, and that appears that may be it for Game 1, and it is, as Bovee pops out to the shortstop, Schmidt, for the final out of Game 1. So that will do it with the St. Norbert Green Knights taking Game 1 by the score of 13-3, 13 runs, 15 hits, no errors. Illinois Tech, 3 runs, 6 hits, 1 error. Gutsfeld with the 3-run homer for Illinois Tech, certainly the highlight for the Scarlet Hawks. But the pitching from Reinhardt and the consistent hitting throughout the order from St. Norbert, they put up a 4 spot in the 4th and 4 in the 9th to help them walk away with a 13-3 win. St. Norbert, with their win, improves to 9-18 on the season, 4-11 in conference play, all 4 conference wins on the road this season for St. Norbert. Meanwhile, Illinois Tech falls to 10-19, 6-9 in conference play. We'll take a break, and when we return, Game 2 of our doubleheader scheduled for approximately 30 minutes following the conclusion of this ball game. All of that and more still to come here on the Scarlet Hawks Broadcast Network, including our Illinois Tech Scarlet Hawks Senior Day presentation. We will have that for you here on the Scarlet Hawks Broadcast Network and on YouTube Live. This has been Game 1, where the St. Norbert Green Knights have defeated the Illinois Tech Scarlet Hawks by the final score of 13-3. I'm Chris Rouse. I'll be back with you for Game 2 of our doubleheader. We'll take a break, and when we return, Game 2 here on the Scarlet Hawks Broadcast Network from Ed Glancy Field.